very important for us to go over a second part on what we talked about English information. Of course, everything you're filling in, at least in, we're talking about Canada, U.S., most of the what we call the British colonies, UK, they're all filling things out in English. It's English information you're filling out. And because English means belonging to England, to an extent, there becomes an issue there on everything you're filling out, especially when it's using spells that have a lot to do with England, because all the arms come from, or the surnames come from the College of Heraldry in London, and therefore they're all foreign, being brought onto different soils. So it's interesting how they've got that set up, and that's why there's customs and duties paid for the use of something that's certainly brought in from another place. So it's not native; it's foreign. Now, in the birth registration system, of course, your parents are always registering a foreign title on this soil, and because it's not really theirs, and they're laying claim to it, and they're registering it as such, even though their belief is unfounded, mere belief is not title, they fill in information on these birth registration records. And you have to understand, most of the time on the bottom of the more modern ones, they actually state that the parents are informants. So when we look at the definition of informant, I'm only reading out of a law dictionary, out of the Canadian side. It states the informant, a person who provides the police with information is the first definition. Sorry, I stepped ahead there. A person who provides the police with information. Okay, now it says the informant has been referred to as a tipster. Now what's interesting on that, the birth registration handbook of 1939 that I've brought up in discussion, that was given out to doctors to fill out proper birth registrations, stated that the purpose of the whole birth registration was for public safety and for police enforcement. So we know that there is something important about these registrations because it's dealing with policy or police enforcement. Now, if we follow further on this, then there's something that has to be going on, that they need informants, because we are dealing with something to do with law enforcement. Why would you need law enforcement if people were not needing to be controlled and governed for doing something most likely that is wrong? And that's the theme of legalism, because legalism puts forth the theory that you will do wrong and you need to be dealt with in a manner you're already accused of something. It's just a matter of time when you're going to do something wrong. So we go basically down the line here. It says the informant is guaranteed confidentiality in exchange for providing the police with useful information, and then basically a person who lays the information. But the fact that you need an informant to lay English information should tell you a lot. And a fact that it is dealing back to what we said, it's dealing with treasury and monetary collection. You can't collect on something that somebody doesn't owe. But if they're claiming something that's not theirs, claiming title, you have the right to claim it. So that's what the government's really doing. They're basically inducing you to take on title so that you basically pay them for a trespass or a fee or a fine for the use of it. You've infringed on it. And therefore they issue a judgment. And these are just judgment notes, collection notes that lead up to whoever their creditor is. And once you guarantor that at age of election, you're on the hook as the hooker. You're the prostitute. You're the guy in common. You have the House of Commons here in Canada. It's a house of prostitution, and that's how it works. So we hope that you kind of understand this, but we're not going to go much further on this subject matter. It's just that we wanted to fill you in that there's always an answer to most of the things that you're researching, as long as you go through a simple dig to find out what it is. They haven't really hidden anything. And basically, there's enough available to let you know how that system of legality works.